Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to the seminar Digital Transformation in Asia within the Vietnam Asia DX Summit 2022, hosted by the Vietnam Software and IT Services Association, VINASA. I am Thomas, and I'm honored to be the host of this seminar. Digital transformation is mentioned everywhere by both governments and businesses nowadays. According to the 2020 Cisco and IDC report on the digital maturity of small and medium enterprises, or SMEs, in 14 countries in the Asia-Pacific region, only about 3% of businesses believe that digitalization is not really important to their operations, much lower than the 22% in 2019. Up to 62% of businesses expect digital transformation can help businesses create new products and services. 56% of businesses find the competition is changing and digital transformation helps them keep pace with others. This statistics shows that businesses have a clear awareness of the importance of digital transformation. In this seminar, you will hear the digitalization stories from 5 economies and countries in Asia, learn from successful case studies and experiences that can be applied into your own business or organization. I would like to introduce Mr. Bada Kushnut, Chairman of PASHA, and Ms. Hira Zainab, Secretary General PASHA, to give a presentation about digital transformation in Pakistan.
Thank you for inviting me and Pakistan today to share our journey. We're so excited to share that Pakistan has been on a journey of digital transformation, and we look forward to sharing the highlights of this journey with you today. So just before we get started, a little bit about me and for the organization that we represent. I am Hira Zainab. I am Secretary General at Pakistan Software Houses Association. We are the licensed representative body for the IT and IT-enabled service industry in Pakistan. While our primary role is working with the government to advocate for the policies that are relevant for the industry, but we also have different industry-led initiatives to promote collaboration, skill development, and the overall growth of the industry. Over the past 3 decades, we have been working very closely with the government as well as with the industry, and have actually witnessed the journey as it happened. Now, as we move forward, let's take a step back and let's look at numbers at glance. When you talk about Pakistan, you're talking about a total population of over 200 million. It has been in its nascent stage of industry growth in the information technology side. But the most amazing part is that out of this population, over 49% is English-speaking individuals. And that shows the potential of those individuals to contribute to the knowledge economy. We have 173 universities that are offering graduate and postgraduate programs in the computers, sciences, and relevant fields. We have overall 700,000 annual graduates. Out of them, 25,000 are in the computer sciences, IT, and engineering fields. We have over 180 cell phone users, 100 million mobile internet users. And if we look at these percentages, this represents great potential for Pakistan. Even though that our exports are currently 2.1 billion, they're off to a great start because of the potential that lies with 35% internet penetration, 68% in online population, and more importantly, with Pakistan, the 4th fastest growing freelance and having the 3rd largest share of online gig workers. We have 700 technology startups and 17,000 IT companies. And this all represents the potential for the digital transformation that these individuals or companies are on. Pakistan's IT industry witnessed a remarkable historic growth of 47% last year. While this fiscal year is expected to, close in June, we are even expecting for even a bigger and better growth this year. And this is not a surprise. Pakistan has been on a growth pattern over the years, and we have seen how exponential it is getting with each passing year. The current composition of IT and ITES exports is that a majority of exports and majority of the industry is in the high-end software development. After that, we have BPO services, and then comes the other subsectors like gaming and animation, mobile applications, IT support services. But this is not just me saying it. According to a report recently launched by Antler Global, Pakistan is the next great emerging tech ecosystem. The way it's Antler's prediction that Pakistan is on similar growth trend as Indonesia was in 2014. So we're expecting great promise to come with each passing year. And they have based this conclusion on three main factors. One, it's a large and growing population, but 70% of the population is under 30. Second, the middle class is doubling up in decade. 60 million people have been added to middle class by 2030, and they are educated, English-speaking, and mostly engineers. And third, there is a rising smartphone, more than 1 million smartphones shipped per month, 100 million smartphone users, broadband users. There's so much potential with the population that we are seeing with the rise. Antler also compared Pakistan to other economies. And although Pakistan is under index as compared to others, if we look at the trend from Indonesia in 2014, it won't come to a surprise that Pakistan is actually on a greater trajectory. And the best part is that all sectors are in play in this digital shakeup. 100 million in annual revenue, representing 40% of the GDP, is up for grabs. The size of the market about as things are further grown and we witness the growth. The great part is that the organizations working and potential is in all categories, whether we talk about big digitization triangle or electric triangle or iron triangle with e-commerce, fintech and logistics, or in solar, semiconductors, e-mobility. These are all sectors which have potential for great growth and have potential that have started to show early innovations. And last but not the least, Antler comments that we all know from other countries, from our neighboring countries, and from the previous historic trends, that it all starts with talent. And what has started to happen is that since COVID, a lot of Pakistanis, foreign diaspora and foreign, nationals, they have started to return back to their home country and started leading startups, started leading, innovations. And that has really started a network effect in all aspects and really, leading the innovation. But Antler is not the only organization to comment that. In the recent report that has been released by Google, called as Unlocking Pakistan's Digital Potential, they predicted that by 2030, if leveraged fully, digital transformation in Pakistan can create up to 59.7, roughly $60 billion economy in Pakistan. And they mentioned three pillars of action: infrastructure, conducive environment, and promotion of innovation. But we see how all steps are leading to making it happen. And Google's report also talks about 8 areas that are transformative technologies and have strong economic potential and have great innovations already in the either in initial scale stage or in the innovation stage, which have great potential for scale. Whether we start from mobile money wallets, we have great fintech startups and organizations, digital retail sales, cobots, 3D printing, IoT, predictive maintenance, database, public health, and cloud computing. All of them have been, making great progress. And just as we are talking about conducive environment, in the recent release report, Pakistan has been ranked amongst the top 31 economies on the Global Service Location Index. Pakistan, according to also Doing Business 2020, a study conducted by World Bank, Pakistan jumped 28 points from 136 to 108 on ease of doing index, ease of doing business index, which shows that the conducive environment is being created for Pakistan and for IT industry in Pakistan. But this is not all. As we have also recently launched a special technology zone, which takes the international concept of special economic zones to Pakistan, but specifically designed for the IT and ITES growth and ITES industry. It was approved by the previous Prime Minister, but the key thing is that it has been created with the objective of forming more than 60 special technology zones across the country over the next 5 years. And what they allow is that it also, although Pakistan has a tax exemption regime, 0% tax on the exports, but it also allows for more conducive environment in terms of policy and regulations to be created within these zones. This was all about how Pakistan has been on the journey of digital transformation. But let's look at now some success stories. We have, we're proud to share some leading companies in Pakistan that have been taking world by storm with their products. Systems Limited, for example, has been listed on Pakistan Stock Exchange and Forbes Asia 200 Best Under the Billion companies. We have S&P Global in Pakistan as a leading provider of independent ratings. We have Affinity in Pakistan, which is a startup valued at 1.6 billion as of 2017. We have Infotech with strong market software running in multiple countries in East Africa. Contour, which is actually a subsidiary of an organization from Canada, Constellation, and more importantly, Quixel Pakistan, that created a huge photogrammetry asset library of real-world imagery and is recently acquired by Epic Games. So is really taking gaming and animation industry in Pakistan to the next level. We also have Knowledge Platform, which is creating impactful and scalable learning solutions for corporate as well as educational and government sectors. We have NDC Tech, which is an award-winning partner and leading digital banking. With example, we have Temples, which is an award-winning, digital, digital organization, digital agency, digital platform, helping businesses with the development and technology acceleration. We have Naseeb Networks, which is leading employment marketplace in Pakistan, focused on facilitating and matching between job seekers and employment opportunities. The examples are just too many. We have now more than 17,000 companies operating. And so, while we are witnessing great growth and scale with so many of them, it's difficult to capture even the success stories and unfair to just name a few. This is not all. We also have international clients. Some of the international clients that are being, served by these companies include, IBEX, Unity, PNG, DHL, Mercedes, just to name a few. There are a lot more international clients which do not wish their identity to be revealed, and that's why our companies have not shared about them. But our companies are serving great portfolio of clients across the world. There are several multinationals in Pakistan, just from IBM to Microsoft to Philips, Ericsson, Samsung, SAP, Cisco, Huawei, Haier, Teradata. All of them have, their offices in Pakistan. And we have seen a rise in active investors over the last couple of years. From Fatima Gobi Ventures to ePlanet Ventures to DFC to Stripe to Samayakar, there has been increased interest of investors in Pakistan's innovation ecosystem because of the potential and promise that it represents. And we can look at that by just seeing the acquisitions and funding since 2019. In 2019, there was an aggregate of $48 million acquisition, and investments. But we also see how few of the startups were acquired by giants like Easy Paisa by Ant Financial and Daraz by Alibaba. We also saw how EdTech, logistics and FinTech had more promise in the initial investments. In 2020, we saw the increase from 48 million to 65 million in these startups investments, where Baikia, Bazaar, Tajir, took the lead. And in 2021, we saw it go to altogether a different level. And it went to, from just 65 million to 365 million in just 1 year, 450% increase, with so many startups getting, invested in. And although 2022 is just started, we are already seeing mergers and acquisitions happening in Pakistan, a great deal of investments closing, which we can't wait to share about as the year ends. But as you can see, just the growth that we have had in just these 3 years shows the promise. And primarily because Pakistan can benefit from time machine effect. If you look at the examples of Pakistan startups and compare it to global success cases, we can see the potential of these startups. Whether we talk about B2B e-commerce or other areas, there are startups that have potential to really create that kind of success case in Pakistan as well as in Asian markets. This is all a little bit about Pakistan's journey. Before I close, I would like to play a short video just capturing the growth of IT industry in Pakistan. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and share again. So as I conclude, let me just conclude it with a video. Pakistan is the new tech destination in Asia, and we look forward to welcoming you in Pakistan. I'm just going to play this video. So that's all from our side. If you have more questions, you can contact me at sg@pasha.org.pk. I've also included my contact number. If anyone wants to know more about Pakistan and what Pakistan has to offer, please reach out. If you're visiting Pakistan by any chance, we look forward to hosting you. Thank you and have a great day ahead.
Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Shuvas Kaka, Executive Board Member, CAN Federation, Nepal, to give a presentation about digital transformation in Nepal.
Hi everyone, greetings from Nepal, and thank you for this opportunity, and we feel privileged and honored to present about digital transformation in Nepal. Thank you to the team of DX Summit 2022, and also hi to Vietnam once again. We're going to talk about how the digital transformation process has taken place in Nepal and what are the areas where the transformation is being possible. And we're also going to present some of the cases like in telecommunication sector and so on and so forth. This is me, Subhas Kharka. I am Executive Board Member of CAN Federation. I do represent as a chairperson in Cybersecurity, Cyber Law and Regulation Committee. I do represent Government Coordination Committee, International Interagency Committee, and have been working for the sector of ICT for development and also for digital transformation across all the provinces in Nepal. There are currently 7 provinces in Nepal, which are province 1 to 7. Now, let's talk about how the digital transformation in Nepal is taking place. What is the perception of digital transformation for people, for citizens, for government, and all of those things. Here's a point that has got the summary how digital transformation is perceived. When you talk about enterprise, government authorities, and even people, and also organization, they want to transform their organization process, their business processes, their way of working through a technology, and they want their customers, or if it's a government bodies or entities, they want the citizen to get involved in the system, and then based on that involvement, show their interaction, show their feedbacks, and also they want people to be engaged. This is how digital transformation has been perceived. And second point elaborates like how the insights have been changed in terms of interaction with the customer and citizen. For instance, example, telecommunication industry have brought those kind of interaction, those kind of transformation, due to which they have been benefited by their customer feedbacks, since they were able to make suitable changes in their organization. That's the power of transformation. And this slide actually is to just introduce about digital transformation, how it is being perceived. Hope I was able to do that. So this is about, there are many existing problems in case of Nepal, in terms of health, in terms of education, in terms of telecommunication. And these problems are deep-rooted problems. So in order to raise transparency, in order to raise efficiency, and also to solve the problem, and to give a better solution, digital transformation has been one of the successful and one of the major tools to do that. By saying digital transformation, Nepal is now transforming the organization in terms of technology, in terms of product, and in terms of people. Firstly, the priority is on the transformation of organization and people. Now, also the products are being transferred. For an instant example, e-commerce is an example which has been a successful story of transformation. Nowadays, commercial products have been able to sell their products efficiently and with value to the consumers through their transformation, and that is the boon of e-commerce itself. This is an example, or this is a story how it has been able to make a digital transformation in the country. Now let's talk about digital initiatives and strategies. So to achieve this digital transformation, certain digital initiatives have been laid by the government, and to mention them, this is first one is the alignment with the vision of making Nepalese citizens happy. This is one of the key initiatives for which digital initiatives has been targeted. Also, Nepal's want to showcase how the digital transformation can be possible in terms of transforming the sectors in the developing markets. And third one is the local transformation, because there are many local government. That means to say there is a local government, but that is spread around different municipalities, different rural municipalities, urban municipalities, and these are also working for the transformation, and they are doing that through the process. They are doing that through the digital tools available, and some of the digital tools are also being made for the purpose. So what is the digital strategy to achieve those initiatives or the transformation? The key thing is utilization of digital assets in new and innovative ways. For doing that, Nepal and people here are trying to focus on emerging technology, and also they are quite thoughtful about cybersecurity. Actually, they also want to secure the data, they secure the application and process at the same time. So becoming a digital business means applying technology to enable new types of products and process. This is the belief that has been taken by the organization here. This is a model, this is an insight from Deloitte, which shows the maturity of the digital ecosystem. That means to say, firstly, the beginning of digital services, the beginning of digital happens, then doing digital, that means applications happen at this period, and then it gradually becoming digital to being digital is the apex maturity that is being achieved. Now, to the pathway to this digital transformation, Nepal, talking about Nepal, Nepal has already started. That means beginning digital has been initiated. And at the same time, Nepal is also doing digital. That means the transformation has already occurred in some of the sector, while some of the sector are beginning the digital. So what we can say is that this is the transition between beginning the digital to doing digital, and at the same time continuing this loop for the process of transformation. So we can say that although digital transformation has not been in the mature state, it has just begun, and and the services has been slowly and gradually transforming different sectors. While talking about digital Nepal, an important framework was introduced by Government of Nepal, Ministry of Communication and Information Technology in 2019, which is called Digital Nepal Framework. And there are 8 sectors which are prioritized to make them digital. For example, digital foundation, agriculture, health, education, energy, tourism, finance, and urban infrastructure are those, and which are also highly targeted by the Government of Nepal to initiate this framework. Well, talking about this framework, this has also laid down some of the key focal areas like digital connectivity, digital skills, and digital governance. The first pillar of the digital transformation is itself telecommunication, or say digital connectivity, because everything starts from the broadband connectivity, and also the quality of the connectivity and services that is being rendered, that is being delivered, should be of high class. So that's what digital connectivity is focused on. Also, people need to have skills to deliver those things, or also to apply the digital transformation in their organization and among themselves itself. So this digital skills has been prioritized. Also, this will create a job opportunity to lots of youths, lot of students, and lots of people. That's also a viable thing to happen. Then the third thing is a focus on digital governance, where the people, where the organizations and government bodies are quite in this area are quite they are overlooking, or say you can say having a glance on the transformational process, how the model is being delivered, what is the transformation, what is the quality of transformation, and so on and so forth of things. So talking about this, there are 3 themes also, which is called talent and skill development, technology and infrastructure, and entrepreneurship development. These are also the thematic area of the framework. Now, let's talk about digital foundation. Digital foundation has got the mentioned points like establishing internet as an essential service, improving spectrum, leading in 5Gs, and laying down the fibers, like, for example, national optical fiber network and high-speed internet connectivity, so on and so forth. Plan has been made in the digital foundation. So this bring to present about telecommunication story. The telecommunication in Nepal has been taken as a cross-cutting sector. So there's an important statistics here. Every 10% increase in data tele density increases the GDP of state by 1.3%, which is a World Bank statistics. And to talk about Nepal, there is a plan which is called 5th National Plan, developed by National Planning Commission, which is the plan that is developed by forwarding the priority areas of Nepal. This plan has also highlighted SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and in this plan, the key focus has also been made for making a digital Nepal, and also for the digital transformation. While talking about the telecommunication, affordability of ICT does matter. So there are different parameters how the affordability is measured. I'll be talking about this thing in upcoming slide. For this, different policies has been a prerequisite, and we do have that policies, like, for example, telecommunication policy, broadband policy, ICT policy, and I have talked about this in Nepal framework as well. We've been following the emerging technology, or we've been drilled down to the emerging technology, where the telecommunication services or telecommunication infrastructure converges to the emerging technology, for example, 5G, optical fiber, IoT, and artificial intelligence. Now, talking about the broadband penetration, in mid of January 2021, it was measured to 82.79%, which was also the statistic laid by Kathmandu Post, a daily newspaper, which is quite reputed newspaper here in Nepal. Now let's talk about ISP story. The ISP services were started in 1995 in Nepal. That means to say internet services was started from the period, and coming down to the period of now, the ISP has got a lot of experiences. They have their success stories. They have learned from the failures. So I'll be briefing about those story here. When we talk about broadband, the FTTS, which is called fiber to the home, is quite famous, and which has been a boon to deliver quality of services. This was the major boon in COVID-19 as well, because infrastructures and broadband was quite supportive to deliver the digital services at that point of time. So 59.2%, nearly 60% of the households in the urban areas and 34% of the households in the rural areas have been connected with this FTTS technology, thanks to them. If you see the current scenario of Nepal in the rural side, this is how the rural side looks like. There are houses which are located in quite distance. The distance among the houses are quite far. So therefore, it's all about laying down the fiber here, investing on infrastructures, and the population is the concentration of population is also a matter and challenging one. That is also making the investment quite challenging one. This is the very challenge for Nepal nowadays for rural connectivity as well. Now let's talk about internet issues. The bandwidth cost, international bandwidth cost, is something that has to be lowered down in order to make the affordable internet price. I was saying about COVID-19 crisis, which pressurized to utilize ICT services. Furthermore, due to COVID-19, digital education has been possible here in Nepal. I'm saying this because in COVID-19, everybody was in lockdown. They were having education. They were having all services from digital, which is also one of the success story for digital transformation, for which ISPs in Nepal supported that through their bandwidth. Because exponentially bandwidth was increasing, and ISPs were quite supportive to deliver those digital services. And now we talk about proportionate of bandwidth. 70 to 80% is on local bandwidth, and 20 to 25% is on international bandwidth. I was talking about affordability, which is taken by ITU Broadband Commission. It has set the target 2% of GNI per capita, which will be the criteria for the affordability. Now, Nepal has been able to meet this target because ITU Broadband Commission 2021 report was showing that FTTT was able to achieve this target in the year 2021. So the another problem here is on the internet taxation, because this is most heavily taxed in the industry. 47% of the taxation is there on the internet side. Also, infrastructure sharing has been taken as a most doable project here for Nepal. So government has prioritized on it. Along with that, private ISPs and consortium has taken the lead on this sector. Quality of service is something that all the telecommunication industry wants to improve, and they are gradually doing that. So there are different projects in the telecommunication sector, like broadband connectivity, access projects to connect schools, health posts, hospitals, and municipalities. There's an optical fiber information superhighway project is also another one, which is also connecting different schools and amenities there. Likewise, these expansion of 4G, establishing of digital IT lab in community schools in order to raise the digital skills training through this lab was also another important project. So these are the key infrastructure development that has been done by Nepal Telecommunication Authority along with its stakeholders like ISPAN and CAN and a lot of institutes, lots of organizations are there involved in this. Now, when we talk about GDP contribution in percentage in this fiscal year, which is a report published by Central Bureau of Statistics, the contribution here can be seen down to province 1 to province 7. Bagmati Pradesh has made a major contribution, which is 31.2% contribution in GDP. Now let's talk about the financial sector, how the financial sector is being transformed. Nepal Rashtra Bank is a central regulatory which is transforming the finance. So Nepal has been quite able to transform digitally, and because in the financial sector, because mobile banking, ATM, internet banking growth rate is being increased in terms of its utilization, which is also seen from this figure as well. Likewise, youth people are more attracted with this technology like digital wallets, fintech. Not only youth, some people even in the rural areas have been able to use fintech for doing their financial transaction, like loading their cash, and also having the transaction done to buy and sell things through e-commerce. Also, NRB is trying to bring a digital currency for Nepal now. They're just rigorously working on this sector. This is how the digital transformation is taking place, which is of something of value to the community. Now, next thing is on agriculture. The government is trying to build a platform to buy and sell their crops and products. Crops and products of the farmers. Farmers can do that through eHat Bazaar, which is a platform to do that. Beside that, several initiatives have been laid like crop mapping, automated planter controls, and soil testing through drones and this satellite images. The NPK value can be measured. Likewise, different initiatives has been taken place. The farmers are now trying to enter into the era of digital initiatives in agriculture. E-commerce, as I said in the previous slide, is quite becoming famous nowadays. Most of the groceries, most of the products are being sold through this platform, which is an integrated solution as well. I was talking about agriculture initiatives. These are the initiatives that has been laid by the government in the Digital Nepal framework. I have already mentioned about the eHat Bazaar, and there are different initiatives that has been taking place in the country. So there are different challenges like broadband and access in the rural areas, problems to find the relevant leads. Then after cybersecurity among the platform has been the challenges in the area. So now I'm going to talk about other sectors like health, education, energy, and tourism sector. These are also the area where the digital transformation is happening. Like for example, health, MIS system are being made in the hospitals, and health posts there. The health data are being collected, like with doctors and nurses data, patient data are being collected. At the same time, security is also being focused there. And these are also the initiatives led in the health sector. And likewise in education, COVID-19 has brought digital transformation in education. I have to say that. I have also mentioned that in my earlier slides. Likewise, smart classroom, teachers training, and then after online learning platform is quite famous among the students and teachers to do that. NEA, which is called Nepal Electricity Authority, is quite focused on energy sector to improve or transform digitally on this sector. So smart metering and kind of things are quite famous. Nepal is a tourism country, I would say, because it has got a lot of opportunities in the tourism. It has got high mountains, green areas, lakes, and then things which is full of natural beauty. So for that project, augmented and virtual reality AR/VR project is there. That is under study, and it's also on the plan of implementation, which will actually give a view of how those places will look like, and one can sit at any corner of the world and view this kind of places, which is quite which might be quite exciting. So these are some of the areas of transmission that are taking place. So coming to the conclusion, yeah, within 3 to 5 years, we have turned on positive indicators. It is accelerating. Like there are risks and challenges like digital device transition, way of thinking, the implementation versus ground challenges. So these are the potential risks. So with this, I conclude my slide. These are the references that I have taken. Thank you for listening, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suvash Kaka. Coming up, I would like to introduce Dr. John Choi, CEO of Makani and Deputy Chairman of Associo, to give a presentation about digital transformation in Korea.
Hello, everybody in Vinasa. I'm John Choi. I'm Vice Chairman of Associate Organization. So I got some requests from the VNASA to give the presentation of Korean experience of digital transformation. So this is very important issues because right now everything is moving into the digital. We call it digital transformation, and the digital transformation make a lot of influence in education, in business, in military, everywhere. So this experience of Korean government and the Korean country might be very helpful in understanding what is the digital transformation and what kind of influence it will have. Okay. The title is like digital transformation in Korea. Mainly we are focusing on some experience and what kind of influence it has in every area like education and the business, even in banking or military. In the beginning, I would like to say this is really important topic in digital transformation in Korea. In Korea, digital transformation was led by government. Eventually, it lead a lot of digital innovation in the business, even manufacturing, and then finally, it is leading some digital innovation in SME. So I will focus on, at first, government digital experience, digital innovation. Okay, this presentation has three parts. At first, I will give the presentation on the public sector service. It's like a Korean digital government project has a lot of very successful outcome. And then it made a very big influence in the business and the manufacturing. That is the second part. And the third part is focus on some suggestion even in the cross-border environment. It's like Vietnam and the Philippines and the other country. Right now they have some challenges, they have some experience, they have some chances. So how can we cooperate between two different groups? Okay, actually in Korea, digital transformation, or the DX, has gone through long years. It's already 60 years ago in Korea when we have some kind of manufacturing factory came into Korea. We got, at first we studied computerization of public administration because a long time ago, Korea actually imported a lot of public administration from China, and that's why we have a very similar public administration system with China and Japan. That has been done 60 years ago, and then we moved to the National Information Communication Network. It's in 1980, we set up very important organization, government organization. It is called National Computer Agency. Then National Computer Agency pursued a lot of informatization project in Korea. And so we put a lot of the data, they move from the paper to the computer database. Step 3 can be called the database age. And 2000, we have drastic movement to the integrated e-government system. Maybe you understand in Korea, we have gone through several different change of regime. Yeah, like some ruling parties and opposition parties. Opposition party come to the ruling party came back to the opposition party. That kind of shake hand came into the integrated e-government project, and then we got very sophisticated and very developed system in 2010. And then right now we are moving into the intelligent digital government. Yeah, I will show you what is happening in Korea right now. Yeah, as I say before, this kind of stage is very closely related to the shake hands in the regime. It's like a military regime here, and then Democratic Party came into the ruling party, and then they shake the hand, change the hands. And the opposition party came into the ruling party, and then again we got the change of the regime against government. So it's pretty closely related to the stage of e-government project. And finally, is that we can say upgrade one-stop public service. It means previously is this kind of a death registration or birth registration that should come into some public place like a small village registration place. But this check financial transaction with the banking account, that we have to make a visit to the bank, financial institute, and or some national pension beneficiary. I mean, in Korea, right now we have a lot of pension plan. So this kind of a pension plan, we have to make a visit to the National Pension Service. So this kind of even tax and the local tax and the vehicle registration and the real estate registration, we have to make a visit to the several different government organizations or the private sectors. But right now, in Korea, after around 50 or 60 years of digital government project, we have only one-stop service. It's community centers around the country, or we call it Government 24 service. Government 24 service provide all kind of service, like you can print all kind of government certificate and all kind of request, vaccine immunization certificate from the government 24. So right now, Korean citizen people, they can receive all kind of public service through the only single window. So that's why we call it really versatile, the one-stop public service. There is one very good example. So it's in Indonesia, when I make a visit to the Indonesia, I saw this kind of phenomenon. I mean, this is a pension office. Still in the pension office to get some certificate for the pension plan, because whenever they need some small loan from the bank, they have to make a visit to the pension office and get the certificate. But later, if you have this kind of online certificate system, so you don't have to make a visit to the pension office. So that's what I say. So this online certificate printing was developed 2000. It's around 22 years ago, and was adopted in 2002. And the government, they enjoy really popularity of this online certificate printing service. And then Korea, they enjoyed ranking number one in e-government project in the world. So I will explain one by one. So how that happened? Already 22 years ago, we developed this technology. But imagine, how can you make sure your printed certificate is really true or authentic? How can you securely deliver this kind of a document from the university to the user computer? So that's why you need a lot of the safe mechanism to prevent possible hacking. You see this one, how can you prevent the editing and save, edit, delete, print? This kind of activity should be prevented on your user computer. And a lot of the forgery should be prevented, screen capture and the capture tool, or source leakage also. We got this kind of technology by request of the Vietnam government. And we installed this system in the Quang Ninh province. I heard still many people, they have not updated the technology, but still they're using this installed technology there. But anyway, this technology is very old, so right now the technology is evolving into the different world. This is a paper printing with a stamp. This is 23 years ago in Korea that was very popular, but then it came into the online paper certificate. And then right now in Korea, that certificate system is moved into the blockchain system. Okay, so right now we came to the final government 24 system. This is blockchain-based certificate service. So issue and the delivery service 24 hours, 365 days. Government 24 receive request for certificate and send it to the user's digital wallet for the storage or deliver certificate to the designated organization. It means whatever you need this kind of certificate, you can request to the government 24. But with some user authentication, you have to prove you are real yourself using some kind of PKI or the My Data system. So right now in Korea, very simple is that if you have mobile phone is kind of an ID. When you have user authentication, automatically you can lock up and you can request, you can download that kind of certificate into the digital wallet. Nearly every certificate, family registration, building registration, land forest registration, local tax full payment, automobile registration. I think maybe in Vietnam you have very similar certificate, very popular in everywhere. Local tax partial payment, city moving report. From the Hanoi to the Ho Chi Minh City, you have to report to the city government. So this kind of a report or request can be done through the government 24 service. And also, one of a very nice service in Korea, electronic vaccine certificate. I'm pretty much sure in Vietnam you have already this kind of a vaccine certificate. Maybe you understand this one is decentralized DID, blockchain-based identification system, and the blockchain, maybe you know already, blockchain is virtual ledger service, virtual unhackable. Whenever you try to make a visit to the restaurant or government organization or school, you have to show you have already some vaccine immunization certificate. So this vaccine certificate can be issued, can be used to the restaurant, can be used to the hotel or some government organization, all kind of is the public place. Many people, you don't have to shut down all over the city because this kind of a vaccine credential or certificate using a DID or blockchain, so very safely so you can walk together, we can have all kinds of restaurant service. And also, right now the Korean public service came into this kind of a final stage. Yeah, we call selective monitoring system. In Korea, we have so many CCTV on the street, in the corner of the street. So that is used for the anti-criminal and the public park management and the children's safety and the traffic data collection and even facility management and the garbage dumping. You know, in Korea right now, garbage dumping is really can get some penalty. Even public toilet, there is some risk. Somebody intrude into the lady toilet. So that's why we got almost every lady toilet, public toilet, CCTV. And the illegal parking, is controlled and monitored by this CCTV. I will explain some of the example what they do with this public CCTV facility. This is a children protection zone. If you have a children protection zone, vehicles, they have to make less than around 40 kilometer speed. At first, the intelligent CCTV, they differentiate child and adult and some kind of vehicle for the recognition and identify some of the people, they don't stop their car. They very quickly, they try to recognize what the plate number and then give some warning signal or penalty. And automatically, they report this one to the police. The other one is like a trespassing monitoring. It's like that. If you have a traffic signal here, but some child or some of the adult people, they can cross. There's a cross road. So in that case, very easily they can check CCTV, intelligent CCTV check. If we find some of the car try to go over, they can identify and report to the police or the local government. Another one is even COVID situation. In COVID situation, CCTV on the street automatically recognize some people they do not have any mask. So that service came into the local government. I told you garbage dumping is illegal in Korea. Very easily identified, recognized by CCTV and reported to the police on the patrol. Those kind of make our society is very healthy, very nice, very clean. Recently, Korean local government is installing a lot of CCTV monitoring center to find missing people. So many people is old people, older than 75 to the 85, something like that. So they lost on the street. So they cannot find their home. Also, young children that they can run away from their home. So that's why recently, a lot of the local government, they tried to set up this missing people finding system here. Sometimes they can be used to find the criminal wanted. So they have to find some people. Or electronic anklet. So maybe you understand, whenever you got the sexual harassment or sexual criminal action, the Korean government, they put in the prison, and also so they put the electronic anklet. You see this one is system operation. Technically, police station, they put that kind of data to the service platform. Service platform had a lot of CCTV, sometimes more than 3,000 CCTV around the village, around the city. So whenever you got this kind of report, and then from this service platform, and compare the CCTV the video with some missing people's photo, and they found. And using AI learning, AI model, they can find. This is really technical stuff. So whenever you have the 2D or 3D face model, and using this integration technology, using Kalman filter or something like that, they do not exactly match it with some people on the street. So far I tried to explain Korean public service digital transformation made a lot of success, in terms of citizens' welfare, citizens' convenience. So I will show you what is happening, what happened in Korea. Digital transformation in Korea has pushed economic prosperity. Basic infrastructure of digital transformation and the digital government project, government system, and all kind of social system, they made a lot of successful push to the Korean economic development. Vaccine certification immunization system, this Korean enjoyed a record export You see this one, 640 billion US dollar. Right now, so we are enjoying the world ranking 8. Around 3 years ago, still we got the 9th. But 1 year ago, we got the 8th. But 7 years ago, we got the 11th. But right now, we have 8th. Even semiconductor leading this record of export, and petroleum, chemistry, and automobile. This is a pretty traditional Korean industry. But amazingly, new growing engine is biohealth. Yeah, Korean biohealth is tremendously growing every year, and also secondary battery jumping to the new export engine. Also, in Korea, right now enjoys a lot of jump in the record of export, cosmetic, agricultural product. So in this slide, you can see mobile power, Kakao, Naver, NC Soft. So in market cap, it's already 2 years ago, so there is this kind of article here. Many people in the world, they have heard the name of the Samsung Electronics and the Samsung Biologics and also LG and the Samsung Hyundai, but never heard the Naver, this Kakao. But in the market already, they showed tremendously successful debut or performance in the market. It's a Naver, Kakao, or NC Soft. Yeah, Kakao, it's only 12 years in the market, but already Kakao is really big giant. You see, just this month, Kakao's market cap is 51 billion US dollar. You cannot imagine only 12 years in the market, company can make this 51 billion US dollar. Is really surprising, unexpected performance. I will show you one more. Kakao Bank is established only 6 years ago, but they don't have any branch office. They don't have any employee who is greeting some customers in front of the door. But the Kakao Bank, they have only 1,000 engineers and the servers. But the KB or Shinhan Bank is really big one. Also, Uri Bank is a 140 years history, but the market cap is around 30% of this Kakao. So it means power of digital transformation. But right now in Korea, we have so many digital players like TOS and Viva Republic. Yeah, this is Benin, or Market Calling and Coupang. It's really big giant right now. So it means the kind of digital transformation in Korea in the business area is really working well. And also digital transformation expand its territory into the SME, small and medium enterprise, manufacturing, and the service. You see this kind of robotics is coming into everywhere, even in the restaurant and the smart farm and the smart delivery. So I can show you one by one what is happening in Korea. That is really digital experience.
Smart healthcare platform. All the services from convenient use of hospitals to the customized total healthcare services. Level Care can solely care for your health. Level Care integrates patient-centered medical services such as mobile payments, insurance claims, certificate issuance, and mobile prescription to streamline the complex and inconvenient services in hospitals. It is the most innovative patient-centered healthcare app platform that brings innovation to medical distribution. transfer the prescription to a pharmacy for quick filling. Actual expense insurance claims and certificate issuance can be all processed with Lemon Care. One-stop smart healthcare platform providing customized health services. Lemon Care. Smart healthcare is shifting its paradigm from treatment hospital-centered to prevention customer-centered. The healthcare ecosystem is comprised of hospital-centered services such as treatment, reservations, and surgery, and customer-centered wellness, including exercise and health foods. Between medical and wellness, Lemon Care will be a bridging platform. It links patients and hospitals to provide services including smart use of hospitals, personal and electronic medical records checking, linkage of wearable devices, and gene analysis data for medical bioassays. It shares big data with insurance companies, pharmacies, pharmaceutical firms, and health food firms to provide optimized healthcare services fully based in the cloud. Lemon Care leads the patient-centered healthcare service trend. Not only with the most convenient use of hospitals, but also 365-day health checks and customized services for patients. It realizes the most innovative mobile healthcare services. Lemon Care integrates the future of smart healthcare services.
I'm trying to show you the even very small scale sort of company, they can enjoy this kind of digital service because in Korea already we have a lot of the good infrastructure and the social custom and the social practice. That's why we say we got this kind of digital transformation is very, very important initiated by Korean government. Success in digital game is like a very successful success story in the cultural industry in Korea. We are enjoying the high profit and very big sales amount from the game industry. Also, success in stage performance. I'm trying to say this one, this kind of a very successful performance like a BTS. Behind this Korean drama and the movie, there is some IT infrastructure. If you take a look at BTS performance, they do their practice very, very diligently. I mean, they're working very, very hard. But in the background of the stage, already there is some IT technology which can make this kind of performance very successful, tremendously bright. In the final stage, I try to say there is we need a cooperative relationship between two different groups. This is some kind of this shows how Vietnam is working well with some outsourcing service. But this is the Philippines. Maybe you are aware of the very successful debut of the Philippines in game industry. Even if they're still in the beginning stage, the Philippines people, they're working very hard. Also, the government support very strongly this game industry in Philippines. So it's that outsourcing service of the game developing is coming to the Philippines. IT workforce in Korea right now, we have two different groups. Japan, Korea, and Taiwan. Japan and Korea, Taiwan, they made a very successful business based on very strong manufacturing factory and also a lot of chemistry. But right now they are suffering from IT workforce, lack of the workforce. So you understand in Japan, if you make a visit to the Japanese company, you will find a lot of the foreign workers in Japanese company. Also in Vietnam, especially the Da Nang area, you can find a lot of the IT people working for the Japanese company. Also in Korea, we are pretty seriously suffering from the lack of IT people. Also, this Taiwan and Singapore, yeah, those countries are suffering from the IT workforce lacking. But the Vietnam, Philippines, other countries like Bangladesh, they tried to provide this IT workforce to these other groups here. I think this is a very good challenge, very good chances for the two groups. Based on this digital transformation, yeah, we have a very good cooperative growth in economically and socially. That's what I'm trying to say in this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. John Choi. Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Kolia, founder and CEO of Digital Pulse, to give a presentation about digital transformation in Sri Lanka.
Very good morning to all of you. I am Professor Kolia Pulasinghe, representing two institutions, Sri Lanka Institute of Information Technology as a professor, and then I am representing Digital Pulse Private Limited as its founder. So in this presentation, I will share my Sri Lankan experience about digital transformation. First and foremost, I must thank to the Vietnam Software and IT Services Association and Sri Lanka Embassy of Vietnam to inviting me to speak a few words at this Digital Transformation Summit, Vietnam Asia 2022. So it's a great honor and a privilege to be here and share my experience with all of you. Moving on, I will talk about digital transformation forced by nature. Actually, this is a great source of energy we received to move towards digital transformation. And throughout this presentation, I will explain five major areas in the society or the day-to-day life in Sri Lankan people, how it went through this digital transformation during the recent past. Healthcare, food supply chain, office culture, education, and news and entertainment. These are the major areas I have taken into this discussion. And finally, I will make some closing remarks explaining you about the current situation of Sri Lanka. So moving on to the next slide. Actually, I have selected this topic, the title, because this digital transformation were proposed by the government and different organizations during the last decade, but it was actually fast forwarded or actually did it very fast during the last few years. Actually, this is because of the challenges faced, challenges around Sri Lankan people forced by the nature. So the major event happened in 2022, as you all know, is COVID, right? COVID hit Sri Lanka in March 2020. Then the entire society has to transform into digital platforms because of the lockdown. So complete lockdown started early April. So everyone were forced to be at home because of this COVID situation. I don't like COVID, and COVID is a great trouble that human race faced so far. But because of the challenges made by COVID, there was some positive impact on the society to work effectively by being at home. There were so many proposed activities previously which were not put into action, but once actually this lockdown came on, those actions were inevitable. We had to do all these actions, or we had to transform into digital means. So the COVID is a great supporter in this digital transformation from IT perspective. So all major sectors, health, food, services, education, and media were forced to undergo digital transformation because countries fully on lockdown. So therefore, actually health services were to be actually done through digital means, and food supplies, other services, government and private sector services, banking services, even education and media, everything actually come to a standstill because of that. So everyone has to use digital platforms to carry out these activities. So I will go through these areas one by one to show you how actually Sri Lanka faced this digital transformation. Especially this healthcare is the major event during the COVID lockdown. So actually in Sri Lanka, there were so many projects going on, digitalization of hospitals, right? Because actually, as you all aware, Sri Lanka provides, the government provides free health to all citizens. Therefore, actually in the hospitals, we had these health information systems. Actually, it's a rollout. See, ICT Agency of Sri Lanka, actually with the Ministry of Health, they were implementing this hospital health information management system into different hospitals. So they rolled out this program, but during the COVID period, this was heavily utilized by the people. Not only that, actually, this hospital infrastructure, actually there were a lot of innovations in hardware and software to get the video consultation throughout this period. Therefore, actually, most of the systems, existing systems and new systems were emerged to support this digital transformation or healthcare facilities to every citizen. So actually, one thing is actually online consultations. So there were many mobile applications came. Actually, this is one such application came to actually track, right, COVID patients around the other people today, because actually exposure to COVID people is a danger at that time, and people has to undergo certain procedures at home if you exposed to a COVID patient. So therefore, actually the apps were generated to track your path as well as the COVID patients, whether there are COVID patients around your residency. In addition to that, there were a lot of applications developed to provide online consultations, online video consultations to patients and get medical support during the lockdown period. And in addition to support that online consultation, the drug ordering and delivery, actually there were a lot of pharmacies or other agencies who support these drugs and other services came online, and they provided services to the general public. And during that period, once vaccination started, so these vaccinations were recorded, and actually ultimately the people who are going abroad were able to get the smart vaccination certificate to prove they have vaccinated during this government vaccination program. So during this period, actually, healthcare is the major area that transformed heavily to the digital means. Not only that, actually, the different universities develop different platforms like mobile robots and so on to deliver drugs and food to the patients inside the hospital. So there were many innovations came in during this period, as well as actually whenever there is actually once this office started to actually detect this the actually body temperature, as well as to actually do sanitization of people who are entering into the offices. They have developed special rooms and special devices to capture temperature and COVID vaccination records. So this is one area actually heavily impacted by the COVID, and because of that, the health sector improved a lot and actually moved into digital transformation to great extent. Now moving on to the other fields, food supply chain. So food is essential to everyone. So therefore, actually during COVID period, there were a lot of online ordering systems, e-commerce sites came into action, and people started using them using mobile phone or either web interfaces to order required food from different supply stores. And food delivery channels were also started. Even PickMe, and PickMe is a Sri Lankan equivalent to Uber, and Uber Eats and Uber Delivery. So these two were heavily used, and not only that, and even in Sri Lanka, three-wheel drivers, they have passed their mobile numbers to nearby households, and through WhatsApp they communicated and actually got the food down to their doorsteps using these channels. So food delivery channels were actually started. When there is a shortage at home, they were started delivering those things to the doorsteps. And farmers associations get together and actually develop this. Koipala is one such mobile application where the farmers can actually see where the demand is and prices, and actually they can provide to the better prices to the better market through this kind of delivery channels. So this kind of mobile apps, earlier they were at hypothetical level, but during the COVID, the farmers started using this software. Then banking and service sector actually started online fund transferring activities. And because of that, actually banking, these online transfers and QR codes were generated to provide these applications to carry out payments. So this area was boomed during, or developed to great extent during the COVID period. And as other countries did, Sri Lanka also started working from home. So Sri Lanka, actually IT sector is the 5th largest income owner to the Sri Lanka. So they earn a lot of foreign currency. Actually, it's one area that is very important to Sri Lanka. So all IT industry and IT companies started working from home. So they have developed the safety tips as well as the guidelines to work from home. So everyone started work from home without delay. So then actually movements were restricted and everyone started using internet heavily, and digital transformation in this area developed heavily during this period. And government services, earlier government services, even though government services were offered digitally, no one used them that up to a great level. But actually during COVID period, most of the people were forced to use these government services using these web portals. And business processes were changed heavily during that period. This electronic transaction law, actually the digital signatures and digital bills, digital prescriptions, everything become valid during that period. So during this period, business processes has changed a lot to electronic means. Therefore, actually, it was a great period that all sectors of the country or all strata of the society moved into the digital transformation. And meetings and celebrations happen in work office environments as in all other countries during online during this period. So the office culture, they were able to continue their activities like they did in physical offices. So during this period, using online means. And education is a great area. Actually, we have developed to a great extent, right? I know actually during this period, kids, most of the time, they were unable to enjoy the school life of their life, but actually they have moved to digital content delivery during this period. So Education Ministry provided all required content during this period, and even government media channels like television or the TV channels actually telecasted those classes or the lectures on the television channels. So certain channels are dedicated to education. So this kind of digital transformation happens during that period. So in universities, but in schools, actually the government schools, these assessments are not happen that much, but in universities and higher education institutes, assessments were done online and invigilations even done online using proctoring systems, as well as plagiarism detection in answers, as well as even codes to great extent. Since SLIIT, my university is an IT institution, so we haven't lost in single day during this period because everything transformed into digital domain, and we have conducted everything on digital platforms. So likewise, education rapidly moved into the digital era, and all benefited from that area. We know actually sometimes it's in urban areas, there is high penetration, so engagement is very high, but in rural areas, engagement is low. But on average, education happened to great extent on digital platforms during this period. Media and entertainment, news. So this area actually we need not to speak. Actually, this is the area we always look for when there is a disaster. So all newspapers, television channels started delivering their content using mobile applications, and everyone actually using web and the mobile application access general media during this period. And voice on video on demand and movie on demand started. So digitally, people during the lockdown, they use digital platforms to watch these things. And not only that, actually new games have popped up. This is one such game where actually we spend 2 New Years. Actually, Sri Lankan New Year happens in April. So there are consecutively 2 years we were affected by COVID lockdown, but actually the traditional Sri Lankan games were converted into digital means and offered in digital platforms. This is one area we enjoyed a lot in digital transformation during the lockdown. And social media, we need not to tell, social media always helped during these lockdowns and pandemic to share people's thoughts and transmit their messages. Even after lockdown, actually now most of the time they use heavily this media, the social media, to share their thoughts. So likewise, actually the entire society moved greatly into digital platforms. By that way, during last 2 years, there was a great digital transformation happened in Sri Lanka, and it was forced by the nature because of COVID. So COVID is not a good thing, but the fruits brought by this COVID is we must appreciate. Even though this is a challenging period, we survived because of this digital transformation to greater extent. So as a closing remarks, I know actually you may have heard about Sri Lanka these days, currently undergoing an economically challenging period. But as you all know, Sri Lanka is a true friend of all Asian countries. So I request all of you to help the country in whatever the way you can. And whenever you get chance, please visit Sri Lanka and experience the warmth of Sri Lankan hospitality. And that's the end of my short presentation. And I hope actually you have got some idea about how different sectors in Sri Lanka move towards the digital platform and how this COVID helped or forced the digital transformation in Sri Lanka. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kolia. Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Yang Hong Wei, Senior Business Manager, Tatung System Technologies Inc., to talk about digital transformation in Taiwan.
Hi everyone, I'm David Yang from TSTI Taiwan. Today, I'm going to introduce the TSTI ESG Zero Carbon Integrated Management System. The TSTI was founded in May year 2000. The company revenue size was ranked 13 in top 500 companies within the IT service sector in Taiwan. TSTI has been business partner of world-class ICT vendors like HP, Dell, VMware, Cisco, and Microsoft, and provide professional service for nearly 30 years in Taiwan and overseas market. We also won a couple of outstanding ICT and AI awards in the market, like Backbone Expertise Award, Outstanding Tech Company Awards, the Happiness Enterprise Gold Award. In addition to this, we still keep strengthening our service categories to give the best solution and service to our clients and make them stronger and better. Our service covers various industries like finance, stock, insurance, telecom, manufacturing, medical and health, and retail. Besides traditional ICT service, we also provide complete solution in AI, IoT, cloud service, smart healthcare, intelligent customer service. TSTI Zero Carbon Integrated Management System is our independently developed brand new ESG integrated platform. Typically, it's hard for general corporate to calculate their operating carbon emission. This is a quite easy to use visual operation cloud-based platform. The platform can help corporates to collect and calculate their carbon emission from IoT smart meter or manual input, manage their carbon transaction voucher, green energy storage, and all shows on a dashboard. As we know, the ESG includes quite wide categories in 3 criteria. Our platform focuses on the electrical water classes. You can see a light pink area class, such as carbon emission, carbon footprint, sewage detection, and toxic emission and waste. It can help corporates to transfer the electricity usage and wastewater detection value into carbon emission easy. We divide carbon emissions integration into 5 categories. The first is carbon emission. You can collect carbon emission and data integration. The second, obtain data through IoT devices and sensors like electricity usage, solar and green energy storage. The third is carbon trading, like green energy transaction voucher, for example, solar and wind power. And the fourth is wastewater and sewage, like collect the chemical oxygen demand, electrical conductivity, and the suspended solid. And the last is zero carbon management system, like carbon emission transfer, power usage, tracking, analysis, and zero carbon strategy execute. Okay. And how the corporates getting started their carbon emission inventory? We propose the strategies in 3 phases. Phase 1, data collection. Collect data and quantify carbon emissions. Develop a carbon emission inventory management plan to formalize data collection procedures. Choose emissions factors and calculate. Second, phase 2, carbon emission reduction. Prepare to set a carbon emission reduction target and track progress by every phases. Phase 3, green energy and carbon trading. Build energy storage, create green energy strategy like solar or wind energy or carbon trading, so they can start to use the energy which they made by themselves. Here is the TSTI ESG Zero Carbon Management Platform dashboard. You can see all the total carbon equivalent at the right upper corner, and the total electricity usage from the smart electrical meter at the left bottom side. Then you can see the carbon trading and transaction voucher content at the right bottom side. You can also choose the building or factory position on the map. You can switch, see more details information of each location. All the data will be collected and converged into carbon equivalent. And you can see more details when you click on each module. The carbon emission calculate is based on Greenhouse Gas Protocol 1 to 3. You can input the data by smart IoT device or manual import. You can see the carbon emission value from each workstation to a production line or the whole factory. This page shows the detail of the smart meter. You can see each meter value where they collect from each building, flowers, or devices from hours to months. You will find which position or device will be the energy monsters or abnormal usage. The data depends on the numbers of meters you deployed. More meters give you more information. And this page shows the details of the carbon trading and energy voucher. You can input the data by manual import, and you can check every trading record and transform into carbon equivalent. Here is another dashboard. We can see more modules and Chinese language. The platform supports multi-language, and you can collect more data from customized module from other IoT and API gateway. This system provides every kind of visible categories and data charts, which shows kinds of information. Or you can use customized service to create your own modules you need. This is a smart, convenient, and easy to use platform. It can help corporates to collect and manage their carbon emission and give them a right direction to make the carbon saving strategies and to help them to achieve the zero carbon. So here is my introduction of the TSTI Zero Carbon Integrated Management System. Thanks for your watching. If you are interested in this system and hope to know more details about it, you can contact our agency in your country. Now we have agencies in Vietnam, Thailand, and China. Other countries' agencies will soon be reached. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yang Hongwei. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Yan Lin, Secretary of Myanmar Computer Industry Association, to talk about digital transformation in Myanmar.
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Zolin, the Secretary from Myanmar Computer Industry Association. Today, I would like to explain about digital transformation program case study experience from Myanmar. First of all, e-government to support 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The 2016 UN e-government survey provides new evidence that e-government has the potential to help support the implementation of the 2030 Agenda and its 17 Sustainable Development Goals, abbreviation SDGs. Our e-government promotes SDG through being catalysts in policy integration, fostering transparency through open government data initiative, engaging people in decision-making through e-participation, advancing online services, and bridging divides. Next slide. There are 8 components in Myanmar e-government framework. These are users, channels, integrated services, ministry applications, shared applications, common data services, shared network and infrastructure, governance, policy, and skills. Mobile, internet, national e-government portal, citizen services centers, SMS, ATM, IVR call center are the channels for Myanmar e-government framework. For the integrated services, there's a single window service orchestration across the ministries. For the ministry applications, there are 8 applications for finance, communication and IT, commerce and trade, home affairs, infrastructure, electric power, railways, and construction. For the shared applications, audio and video conferencing, email portals, document management, identity management, etc. For the common data services, company registration information, citizen ID information, maps, GIS data, ministry-specific information. For the shared network and infrastructure, there are many technologies such as internet, cloud, MPLS, state one, national one, mobile connectivity such as GSM, 3G, 4G, and GPS. For the governance, policy, and skills, orchestrate across all ministries, establish ID standard policies and laws, engage users, ensures all layers are integrated, and ensures development and availability of skills. Next slide. The Ministry of Investment and Foreign Economic Relations introduced the investment facilitation tools under the embossing Investment Facilitation Toolkit 2022 in Yangon on 1st April. Unboxing Investment Facilitation Toolkit 2022 held aiming to promote streamlined investment for better Myanmar economic community. I would like to explain about DICA and BIFA. DICA is the Directorate of Investment and Company Administration. BIFA is the Ministry of Investment and Foreign Economic Relations. DICA is the primary interface between business and the government. DICA is mandated to promote private sector development and to boost domestic and foreign investment by creating a conducive investment climate. BIFA aims to facilitate businesses to harmoniously cooperate between foreign direct investment, FDI, technical assistance, official development assistance, ODA, and investment from abroad and home, while improving investment of the country. So BIFA has the SMART program. SMART means as for streamlining and simplifying procedures, and for maximizing online services and minimizing barriers to businesses. A for assuring aftercare services, and R for reducing regulatory burden, and T for transparency enhancements. This is the step-by-step improvement of DICA's online services. And as you can see, start from 2016 and to today, 2022. So using Micro, you can register your company and find information on all companies that are registered in Myanmar. Starting from 26 September 2020, certified copy of company certificate or constitution of company will be certified by electronic and historical record of company filing. Historical company extract are unable to buy on Myanmar companies online. So Micro means Myanmar Companies Online is an e-government initiative by the government of Myanmar to make company registration fast, easy, convenient, cost-effective, efficient, and reliable in Myanmar. Micro provides a platform for companies to be registered online. People from all over Myanmar and abroad can register their companies in Myanmar online via the internet, thus making registering a company in Myanmar faster, cheaper, and easier than ever. This is the page for online company registration system. Myanmar Company Law 2017 was passed by the Parliament on 6 December 2017 and has been enforced on 1st August 2018. According to the new law, it aims to be transparent company registration process, to be easier than ever to set up a company, and to be strong corporate governance for companies and business investors in Myanmar. Moreover, it will enable to reduce regulatory costs and easily use online company registry system, and then make the small and new registered companies take advantage of economic opportunities. And adding the new Myanmar Company Law, a business law to start an investment in Myanmar, will open and liberalize the business environment to persuade investments. There are 52704 registered companies with Myanmar Company Online Registry Micro system from 1st August 2018 to 30 April 2022. There are benefits of registering your business online at Micro. It is fast, it is convenient, and it is cheap and cost effective, and it is reliable and secure. But there are also benefits from Micro value-added services. So another one is do so, or do so, something like that is okay. DICA online solution. So 24/7 available for appointments, be a consult from anywhere via online, available to give feedback for the meeting, request, schedule, or connect online. So why do so? Do so is a convenient way to request appointments professionally and schedule meetings efficiently, save time, reduce cancellation, increase productivity. Scheduling can be made from anywhere at any time. This is the whole page of Lanka online solution. These are benefits of Lanka online solution. It's very user-friendly, 24/7 available for appointments, safe from COVID-19, reduce cancellation, save time and money, scheduling can be made from anywhere, anytime, and feedback system. That's all for digital transformation from Myanmar. And thank you all. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, this presentation is the last sharing of the seminar today. We hope that you've learned some insights about digitalization from economies and find them applicable in the business and organization. Once again, thank you and see you all at the DX Summit 2023. Goodbye.